Welcome everybody to Daily Census Explained, where we explain the story in more detail, but in a fun way, so you can know the backstory and how the inspiration came for each episode and each chapter. Thank you guys for listening.
Welcome back. Here we are for Daily Census, Chapter 9, The Media Storm. So, of course, much like last time, there's going to have to be fallout from the event. And this is the second such tragedy that Nicole Stipes is having to deal with, and she's panicking about what's going to come next. Not just for her, but and this was an interesting part, is that we at first, when we're introduced to her, we get the idea that she is pretty much just about herself. But what is introduced here is that she's not only concerned about how this is going to affect her, but how it will affect the hospital and the livelihood of all the people who work there and the community. And if people have to go further away to receive care, they might not survive that trip, or might not be able to get to that hospital. And so you start to see that there's a lot of other things she is considering. She is first and foremost thinking about herself and her career and her future, but she's also considering how this institution fits into this community, which is actually gives her character a little more dimension.
And that's what I want to do, balance her out. She can't just be strictly business, strictly an asshole. She has to have some compassion. She was a nurse at one point, so I wanted to show that part too, because she's right. It does this will have ripple effects throughout the community.
Yes, and she's well aware of that, and does consider it, even if it's not her very first thing.
No, I mean, self-preservation always first.
Right, true.
But then she's trying to also tell the India that, hey, if you fall on the sword for this, maybe, let's save these other people's job in the hospital. Won't be blamed as much if you just take the blame for it.
Right.
So she's trying to get somebody to take the blame for this.
Yeah. And
she's coaching her along. And in a way, she's trying to be sneaky with it as well by saying, throwing up the problem that the other nurses might get fired, hospital might get shut down. Just go ahead and take the blame.
Right.
Then none of this happen. You might get burned, but look how many people you're saving.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's very good at that. And we're going to get into that more in Chapter 10. But what it does show in this chapter is reveals even more about how tenuous all of these positions are for people in leadership positions in general. It kind of reveals that, hey, all the old white men on the board were sort of hesitant about having a woman as their CEO and didn't necessarily want to, but she came at it hard. She attacked the job. She really put things in place, and she was making them money and kept the reputation of the hospital up, kept their pockets lined, so they didn't have a complaint at that point. Mm-hmm. But now that shit's going down again, she's starting to get concerned that they may not think so highly of her anymore and may feel like maybe they need to move on. And it's not helped any by the press, because of course this type of event is, it's a if it bleeds, it leads kind of event. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely a lot of blood on the hospital's floor here. So the media is really jumping at them too. And so Snipes needs that scapegoat, as you were starting to talk about. And India Davis is going to be it.
Yeah, that's true. In India, because she is a good person, she actually, thinks about this. Like, is this something I can do? She felt bad. She's the first nurse of her family, had degrees, but the good, taking the sword, like you said, for those to make the good for her or good for everyone else. This is something that she kind of contemplates as Snipes sells it to her.
Yes. Yeah, and again, as we talked about, no matter how good you are, how kind you are, how smart you are, how well you've done, one error, and unfortunately, no matter how exhausted you are in a position at a hospital, falling asleep is one of the primary cardinal sins.
No nose.
And I like how Eric Riviera really tried to take up for her.
Yeah.
And it was like, please, I know she did this happened on her watch, but we had that woman working for 14 days straight.
Yeah.
So, take that in consideration. And she never took it in consideration. All she knew, I got a scapegoat right here. Somebody to blame, I'm blaming them. I come in there compassionately, but she just trying to coach her into taking the blame.
Right. And that's happened with both of these incidents, is that, the supervisors have tried to explain the chain of events that led up to this and explain why this happened. But, higher-ups often don't want to hear any of that. They don't care because they're going to have to answer to someone else, whether it's the board or the shareholders or whoever, as to why something happened. And even though all those things might be valid, that's not going to save someone's job. Someone's still going down in these types of situations. Yeah, whether it means a demotion, whether it means a firing, whether it means jail time. Someone is going down. And in the case of this, it's going to mean firing and jail time, as it did for the NICU nurses.
Yeah.
This is going to lead, I'm sure, to the same thing for poor Nurse Davis. So
It's
and
murder.
yet again,
Yeah.
saving the face of the hospital.
yeah, and it was, I don't remember how many kids were there were 4 kids in there this time. So yeah. So it was 6 babies, right? And it's 4 kids.
That's
so
10 murders in 1 year.
yeah, in a period of 6 months.
There you
So yeah, so things are not looking great for St. Mark's as a hospital. I mean,
All Nicole Snipes
yeah.
at this point.
So
Board
people are
director's not trying to hear that.
what's that? Board of directors? Yeah.
10 deaths in 6 months.
Yeah.
With the changes that you've made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, what you're doing is not enough.
Accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I did want to ask here. I don't know if it's something you want to reveal, but maybe in your creation of the killer, the serial killer here, are they intentionally trying to time these things and cover their tracks?
Of course.
So it's not just
This is nothing random.
right.
This is coming from years of experience.
Yeah. So
They know what to do and how to do it.
right.
So somebody definitely knowledge with the hospital.
Right. And are they looking for other people to take the fall, or is that just sort of a happy, unintended consequence?
No, always look for someone to take the fall.
Yeah. So they're setting it up so that other people look
perfect
guilty.
plan, so it's never going to look at for them.
Yeah.
The finger will never be pointed at them.
Yeah.
You're always going to have someone else to take that blame.
It was.
That's how you get away with it for so long.
It wasn't intentional on who it was. It's just so as long as it was someone else,
Right.
not them.
And that's a perfect serial killer.
Yeah. And that's, a lot of there are organized and disorganized killers, and this is definitely a more organized.
Yeah, but to get away with it for years, you got to be organized like this.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This is certainly nothing.
Someone with intelligence.
Right. Not impulsive, not random. And you start.
If you notice, they're all in ICUs. Can't fight back.
Right. Right. Yeah, they're not looking. This is definitely not someone who is looking to be excited by killing someone who is fighting
struggle,
back.
yeah.
Or a struggle. They're not feeling any satisfaction from that. And we do start to wonder about their motivations if all they want to kill is people who are sick and injured and unable to defend themselves and are in many cases in a process of hopefully recovering. So it's not like they're all just in a coma, or that they're all now I think a couple of the kids, it comes out later somewhere that a couple of the kids in this ward were probably brain dead.
Correct.
But not everyone. A lot of these babies and children had a chance of recovery.
Right.
And so it's not just about
So do we think. Not serial killers don't think logically.
right.
Their mindset might be totally different from what you're thinking.
Yeah, it's very true. Perception.
If not,
of
they
the
wouldn't be
world.
killing people.
Yeah.
These people got mental issues already.
Right. So yeah, we do start to wonder about their motivations because they're still unclear. Why are they doing what they're doing? And so,
Later on it'll be revealed.
yeah,
But yet again, at this point, they're not aware that there is someone out there doing this intentionally.
right.
It still look like nurse negligence, which is perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect cover.
Which is why I was so curious as to whether or not that was part of the
It's
intent.
all
but-
intentional, yes.
yeah. Because again, yeah, if they're not, suspecting someone else. They're not going to be looking for anyone
Exactly.
else.
Because remember, they're looking for quick answers. The press is going to be there.
Right.
You don't have 3 weeks to investigate. Hold up, maybe it wasn't them.
Yeah.
You got to have answers the next day.
Right. But if someone saw someone or there's someone on camera, even if you can't see who they are, it still gives another focus of the investigation. And you can say, see, our hospital staff was not to blame. You can pretend they didn't fall asleep. No one needs to know that. And, you can go after this individual, but they're so good at covering their tracks that there's no one else to blame but
Exactly.
these hospital or these
That nurse gave the
nurses.
medication.
India Davis. And also at this point, they're not even asking who came in and out of that unit. They
Right.
just knew that she was there, she fell asleep, and the children died.
Because remember, the nurse who found her asleep wasn't going to take the blame for her.
No.
She was like, just tell him. She's like, girl, I'm not going to jail for you.
Yep.
Right.
She's like, no, I'm going to tell him exactly what happened. I found you asleep.
Yeah.
Because remember, she woke her up and said, something wrong with all the kids. What did you do?
Yeah, she
Right.
said
What
it
did
was
you
just
do?
5
She says,
minutes,
"What'd you
and it
do?"
was 30 minutes later.
Just close your eyes for a minute. It happens.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Everybody's done it.
Go take my little bathroom break.
Next thing you know, like, oh,
Sit there for
Lord, it's been
5
an hour.
30
Yeah.
minutes later.
I mean, and there is a physical point at no matter how driven you are to stay awake or, how strong a person you are, there's a point at which your body just
Your
shuts
body will let you
off.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time.
Fall asleep
Yeah.
standing up.
I go. Next thing you know, I'm asleep all Saturday. My wife
Yeah.
like, you all right? Like, I'm tired.
Yeah. It's like, I'm cutting you off. You are done.
Your body lets you know when it's time to rest.
Yeah.
I've even been to the point where I'm, coaching myself, stay awake when I was driving. Stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. And then
wasn't
I'm
with you, was it?
daydreaming that I'm telling myself to stay awake and I'm actually asleep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've had those dreams where you're awake, and especially when driving.
Driving?
And
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Driving.
Nah, I
is-
pull over.
yeah.
I ain't never did that.
Well, the last time I pulled over,
I just pull over. I'm not dying for nobody.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Well,
been-
I didn't know
I
I-
get there when I get there.
I didn't know I fell asleep. I thought I was awake, telling myself to stay awake.
Yeah, that's the worst part is that when extreme exhaustion turns to not just confusion, but actually like a hallucination. And
You thought
start-
you were still driving.
Yeah, you start imagining
Wow.
things,
Then it was like,
seeing
broom, broom, broom.
things.
Oh,
Yeah, thank God for those little bumpers on the side and
In the
make that
roads.
noise in the road. Yeah, you're right.
Yep, that will keep you going. But there's a few hidden ones in the country too that play music. So
really?
yep, there's one off of where is it? It's outside of Albuquerque. It's over by like Old Route 66.
Oh, yeah, I've never been there.
Into Harris Canyon. That if you drive it at just the right speed, you can tell it's music. And I discovered it by accident. And then I looked it up online, and apparently it's a real thing because I had actually gone too far over, and I heard what I thought was a song, and I went back over it slower. It's America the Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
And they had carved the grooves in just right to play the song, but you have to drive it at a certain
certain
speed
speed.
to get it just right. So,
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like I said, I found it totally by accident, but I went and read about it, and it's a real deal. So, but anyway, yes, this exhaustion is something that any of us can relate to, and the killer is obviously taking advantage of the situations that are happening at
Exactly.
the hospital.
Showing the killer's intelligence.
Yes, very, very much so. So, all right. Well, I look forward to seeing more of the fallout of the second event here in the next episode.
And we welcome you to come to the next episode of Daily Census Explained so we can get more into the next portion of this series. So if you could just please assist us by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel, and it means a lot to us.